Now to the other tragic loss this morning. Tributes continue pouring in for South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham as lawmakers from both sides of the aisle honor his legacy.
Lindsey Graham was, look, as Tim just said, and I'll agree with him, no better friend, no tougher adversary.
He is somebody that I'm really going to miss in terms of my ability to find battleground with him and fight over the things that mattered, but also still find that common ground.
He loved America, and frankly, it's because he loved Americans, and he's going to be missed.
South Carolina Congresswoman Sheri Biggs joins us now. She occupies the same seat that Graham did from 1995 until 2003. And I'll just begin by asking you, what are the lessons that you learned from Senator Graham that you'll take with you for the rest of your career?
Well, good morning, and thank you so much for having me. I think Senator Graham exemplifies what a servant member does, and I'm very proud to have known him. I'm honored to hold the seat that Senator Graham held, and I just think his service to not only my district, of the 3rd District of South Carolina, but to South Carolinians and to the nation as a whole is one to be exemplified.
Well, you can't think about Senator Graham, Congresswoman, without thinking about his foreign policy beliefs, and he was somebody who had a clear vision of who his allies and adversaries were when it comes to the United States, and it's something that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu deeply appreciated about him. Here is the Prime Minister in his own words reflecting on Senator Graham.
He didn't bend to fashion, the winds of fashion. He knew who the good guys were, and he knew who the bad guys were. He never confused the two. He saw Iran and its proxies for what they are, a danger not only to Israel, but to the entire world, and certainly to America. And he never wavered, you know, he just kept to his convictions and to his values with was.
And Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, Congresswoman, who the senator was just with, had just come back from a trip to Ukraine, wrote on X saying, quote, Lindsey was a true defender of freedom and the values that make our world safer. He visited Ukraine 10 times during the years of Russia's full-scale invasion and was here with our people when it was most needed. We remained in constant dialogue, and I will miss our conversations. What was his impact on foreign policy, and what changes now that he is no longer here?
Well, I think one thing about Senator Graham, his service in the military and his relationships with foreign countries, they matter. And I think that's going to leave a huge void and big shoes to fill for the next person taking his place.
So his unexpected death comes after he had just won the primary race for the upcoming Senate general election in November, and now there's going to be a special primary election on August 11th. Candidates can file for that election starting next Tuesday, so this is going to happen really quickly. President Trump says he has an idea of a possible person who would be a good fit for the role. Listen to the president here.
I have somebody that I think would be great, but I don't want to say it now because it just, you know, it's too soon with Lindsey. I don't want to even talk about anybody, but I do have somebody that I think is really good.
So Lieutenant Governor Pam Yvette is one person who has been speculated about as a contender for this role, with President Trump giving her his endorsement in the governor's race that she lost. How do you see this playing out?
Well, I think it's still a little too early to speculate. There are a lot of conversations going on. I think whoever the governor decides and the president, I know they are discussing options right now. But what I would like to mention, Amy Andrews is the Democrat select, and that's going to be a tough race, and we need to be paying attention, and whoever fills that position needs to understand what's at stake. South Carolinians are not going to allow a person like Amy Andrews to be elected because of her views. They are completely contrary to what South Carolinians hold dear, our values and our conservative morals, and I anticipate it will be a strong candidate.
You know, Congresswoman, the other thing that President Trump said yesterday was that he spoke to Senator Graham at around 6:30 on Saturday night, and that was about an hour and a half before the 911 call was made. So the senator worked up until the very end. What sort of lessons can younger elected leaders take from Senator Lindsey Graham's storied career?
Well, I think that's why Senator Graham was so well respected, because he did care about our state and he cared about our nation, and he didn't have a typical 9-to-5 job. This is a 24/7 position, and you have to put others before yourself, and I think that's what Senator Graham did.
Senator Graham was working on a Russia sanctions bill, and he actually announced the text of that as recently as Friday, right before his trip to Ukraine. And there are calls now to pass that in the Senate in honor of him. Do you think that will happen?
I guess we'll see soon enough. I certainly hope so.
Yeah, it would call for a 500% tariffs on countries that buy Russian oil and gas. And now, as Nate said, there's this bipartisan effort to have it passed, and it already had a lot of support. So we will see if it happens. The Senate's back in session today. Could it happen today or this week? We will certainly be watching. South Carolina Congresswoman Sheri Biggs, we thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining us, and our deep condolences to you and everybody in South Carolina.
Thank you so much for having me, and God bless.
God bless. All right, switching gears here.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.